Situation is like that. In the last 3 days, we have been able to create a wide air defense gap between Akhnur right up to Fazilka. That is right in Pakistan Punjab area, where our drones, missiles, aircraft can operate at will, because his capability to interdict these has been severely degraded. It goes beyond logically knowing all this, knowing our capability to strike, knowing that we have deliberately gone in for the air defenses, and the terrorist targets, and the only military targets actually we took on were air defense targets. Now we have created this gap. Still, they went in for the strike. I mean, this is some kind of a desperation on their part, because the very aim with which Munir started this through the 22nd of April, what they got it done, that aim has not been achieved. In fact, his situation has become more precarious. It is more dangerous because now the dissent within the army, which he was trying to control through this escalation, has many times multiplied. And his
Okay, okay.
position,
I'm sorry to
appears to
interrupt
be.
you. There is information on your screens which is a qualification that this is Pakistani propaganda, this is fake news. The Pakistanis have now been claiming that they have captured a female Indian pilot. This is fake news. There is no Indian female Air Force pilot that has been captured or shot down or anything to do with the current scenario on the India-Pakistan border. Fake news on your screens. Sir, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your thought, sir.
Yeah.
Brigadier Jambal, finish your thought, sir. Can he not hear us? Okay, we might have lost him. I'll come back to him in just a second. There is a whole host of such posts that are being circulated by the Pakistani machinery at this point of time. There is an attempt being made to counter them because, oh my God, this is information warfare. This is exactly how it happens. Nobody's surprised by it, but of course efforts have to be made to counter it step by step. More breaking developments that are coming to my way. I've just been informed that the US Department of Consular Affairs has directed the US mission in Pakistan restricting movement of all personnel. All personnel of the US missions in Pakistan have been informed that their movement is to be restricted, which I'm going to assume means either they are in the embassy or consulates or they are in their residences and nothing else, that they're not to be moving around in Pakistan. Pakistani airspace is completely closed. Now we can make our own self-assessment on what is going on, what might go on, what might go down at this point of time or has already gone down. Commodore Anil Jai Singh is with us. Commodore, now how long can this go on where they have a swarm attack across the entire length from Sir Creek to Siachen on the night, we respond to it, then there's a lull during the day, then it happens again at night. At what point of time does our patience run out, or what point of time should our patience run out?
Well, one of the panelists just spoke about the escalatory ladder or the escalatory escalator. I think the ball is firmly in Pakistan's court. They are on the back foot. They know they are on the back foot. Their probing attacks over the last 2 days have largely been unsuccessful. They've not been able to penetrate our air defense. On the contrary, with whatever we've responded with, we've been able to do that. So now their airspace, which they have, of course, shut down fully, will they be able to defend it? That's the million-dollar question. If their air defenses are down, if their drone capacity is reduced because we've been shooting them down on a regular basis, if they're short of air defense ammunition and artillery ammunition, then certainly they will find it very difficult to defend their airspace. And perhaps if they decide to escalate, I'm not sure India really wants to escalate this into an all-out conflict. Otherwise, we would have done it by now and achieved a fair amount of success already. So I think we are just waiting and watching because we know where we stand. We know we have the superiority in conventional forces. We also, I think, will call the Pakistani bluff on that nuclear bogey that they keep throwing at us. The Navy has still not moved in. Now, when the Navy moves in and carries out kinetic attacks, that will be actually war because we'll take out some very, very vital installations which will literally cripple the Pakistani economy. if the Indian Navy were to block the Pakistani sea lines of communication heading to Karachi or Gwadar or Ormara or wherever they might be wanting to take their merchant trade to, that will seriously dent Pakistan's economic ability to extend this warlike situation beyond a certain point. And perhaps this battle of attrition we can continue for some time till we find that they've degraded their own capability to an extent where they have no choice but to either seek a ceasefire or perhaps look for a way out, request the Americans to bail them out or get them out of trouble. Similar thing happened in Kargil, and it could well happen again.
Okay, so
I'm sure India is not interested in escalating this conflict beyond a certain point.
Okay,
or
okay,
we would have done it by
no,
now.
fair enough. It's a fair argument to make. You can argue all sides of the picture that if you were to do it, this is the time. You can't do this every few years. You can argue all sides of the picture. I do believe that the best case scenario for us is that we focus on building our country, and that's how Pakistan loses in the end. That's how the Soviet Union lost. But all of that is meaningless if you and I can't go for a picnic with our wives and children without being shot in the head. So, if our tactical objective, sir, was to deal a blow to the Pakistani terror establishment, can we see every time you start something or you respond to something, you have to have a war aim. What is our war aim here?
That's exactly the point I'm making. What is the end state we're looking at if we escalate this conflict? What is it that we're looking at? Will we be able to root out terror totally? I'm not so sure, because I think more than the ISI, of course, on the one hand, ISI controls these organizations, but it's also a Frankenstein monster they've created. I'm not sure ISI has that kind of control over them to prevent them from doing anything on Indian soil if they decide to do it. Because very often what happens is when you feed a terrorist organization, it sort of comes back to bite you. Pakistan has experienced that with their so-called Pakistani good Taliban, which they used to call once upon a time. They're experiencing it now with the Taliban in Afghanistan, where they thought they had defense in depth. So everywhere it is backfiring on them.
Okay,
and
so
that could very well happen
let me
here
ask you
also.
a very practical question. Did we achieve our aims in the first strike of the 9 places, the terror camps in Pakistan? Was that all we wanted to do? And after that, we are simply responding to Pakistan and waiting for them to stop?
No, I don't think, personally, that's my personal view. I don't think this was the ultimate aim, was to knock out those terror camps, because we know it's not going to root out terrorism. It was our way of carrying out a kinetic attack, saying that we are targeting specific targets. We are not invading your country. However, the very fact that we revoked or held the Indus Water Treaty in abeyance, something we have not done in 65, in 48, 65, 71, 99, we never did this. First time we've done it, means we're also looking at the state's involvement in this. We're not just looking at it as a terrorist activity. We are saying you are actively supporting these activities. We are taking the kinetic action to root out that kinetic aspect of this. But as a state, you guys wake up, or we've got many other means of choking you, economically or otherwise.
Okay, so again, I'm trying to filter this through, because for people watching the broadcast, I'm sure this has already been well defined. I'm sure that is being amended and added to as Pakistani escalation takes place. If they had not escalated it to this level, our goals and aims would have been different. Now that they have escalated, obviously our goals and aims changed. Would it be reasonable to think that, given the current state of affairs, there has to be a consideration that Pakistan's ability to launch attacks onto civilian areas or military areas or air force areas into India needs to be systematically curtailed?
Yes, I think so, because when you start targeting civilian areas and all, then that is taking the conflict to a different level, because then their rules of engagement change. Is it unrestricted warfare? Is it trade warfare? Is it on people? Are you trying to break the morale of the country? What is the aim? What is their aim of attacking civilian areas? Have you not been able to penetrate the military? So I'm sure all these, I'm not trying to be overly qualified in saying that this is my personal opinion, but I'm sure at the highest levels in the government, all these things are being factored in. The CCS is meeting regularly. The chiefs are meeting regularly. Their briefing is going on all the time. Every situation is being assessed. They have a lot of more intelligence information than any of us will have or ever have. So they know, the people who are sitting there in the high echelons of our security establishment would be very well informed on what exactly is happening, what could happen, and what the options for India are. So I'm sure they're sort of carrying out a very rational assessment of this. Yet one of the newspapers reported today that the Prime Minister even consulted with senior retired veterans yesterday.
Okay.
Now that's something that, that these are things which reflect well on the robustness of the security establishment in India.
Yeah, okay. Like I've been telling people